Welcome, everybody. It is the day of the Halloween update, and there is a lot to look into, a lot of stuff I am super excited about. Before we get into that, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been enjoying my recap of the Back for Blood story. I am working on the Children of the Wild story video. Every time I think I have the thing figured out, there are more details to get into, and I'm guessing in this new update, there's going to be a few more details I have to figure out. But until then, we are going to get into this update and enjoy everything it has to offer. So let's get started right into it. As always, looking at the note the developers have given us right at the beginning, it says, this free update for the month of October includes a lot of new surprises, including the Halloween in Fort Hope seasonal event, seasonal caravans, and exclusive Halloween cleaner and weapon skins. Matchmaking for No Hope difficulty has been enabled, and a horde indicator was added to the HUD to give you important information about the hordes of Ridden you're fighting your way through. 6 new cards and 4 legendary items have also been introduced to assist you in your slaying. In addition to the new content for this month, many bugs were fixed and balance changes made to existing cards, weapons, and cultists. And I'm going to try to include some pictures of some of the new skins and stuff they've been teasing and get this video up to you as soon as I can. So I'm going to run through this major stuff and just try to hit all the things that I think are important for this update. Because like I said, there's a bunch of stuff. And you don't necessarily need to know every detail. But let's go. So new features. No Hope matchmaking. It's great if you want to see how the No Hope difficulty goes with random cues, I guess. Horde Indicator UI. This is a new functionality that they've decided to add so that in general, hordes are a lot more intuitive and make a lot more sense. I guess they feel this is going to just help the gameplay experience. Uh, so you'll see on your screen an icon that tells you a regular horde, how long it will last, a uh, timed horde where the timer gets filled up, an infinite horde indicator that pulses until the end of the game, a horde waypoint showing where the horde is, and a timed horde waypoint. Now, the 6 new cards, I don't completely understand this. It says new intel type, 5 legendary cards. They have teased that there is a new like intel box that looks like you'll find in the environment. It says Kanoa County on it. Presumably, it'll just be in Act 5 because Act 5 takes place in Kanoa County. But I guess 5 of the 6 new cards are 5 legendary cards you can find in that, maybe. And then 1 fortune card, I guess, is 1 regular card they're adding. Halloween event. So seasonal supply lines, just like the Christmas event was in December, almost a year ago now. So seasonal caravans along the same lines. 4 more legendary items, which will be fun to see, which they actually teased that too. Hopefully I can get some images of that into this video. New sprays, emblems, and titles, weapon skins, and cleaner skins. So, what are the updates to the campaign? Well, first of all, they now gave Dan's revive abilities. They work with a defibrillator, which is nice. And Hang, they decided to completely redo Hang's abilities, which I'm happy about because I have been trying my darnest to figure out what to do with Hang. I haven't figured out what his purpose is, and how the ability to find uh, hive entrances and attachments is that helpful. Now he's completely different. Now he's all about food. He used to be in charge of a diner, I think. So that makes sense. Hang now causes 10 extra food items to spawn. He receives the effects of food items picked up by other cleaners and double the effect if he picks it up himself. So, Yeah, he just always gets the effect of food whenever it's picked up. And then if he picks it up himself, that's just on top of the effect he's already getting. Yeah. So Hang heals an additional 1 trauma when consuming food, and he can no longer see dungeon entrances, which I think this is the first time I've ever seen them officially called dungeon entrances. He can sense food items, and the team effect is cleaners that pick up food gain 1 max health and 1 max stamina until the end of the level. So he kind of got the food scavenger card applied to him, which I guess he no longer does. He no longer have the item reuse chance, so he no longer has that card applied to him anymore. I don't know. Anyway, he's the skinniest guy I've ever seen that's all about consuming food, but whatever diet program or workout program he's on, I he's a good endorsement of it. So, um, a new build to work on for him now. I'm excited about that. Jim's primary weapon is now the Phoenix 350L. Jim now has reload speed instead of ADS speed, which I guess I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know if I feel that strongly about it either way. Um, let's see. Abandoned campaign runs will now end if abandoned before they start. Additional loot spawning locations of various campaign missions and ridden hives. Uh, here's a big one. The Dark Before the Dawn, the diner, the mission with the big diner survival part at the end. So the holdout duration is 240 seconds on all difficulties. There are now waves of special ridden in addition to the hordes, or waves of special ridden added to the hordes. And there is now a boss that is going to spawn in the last minute of the holdout. But I guess that means you don't have to kill the boss in order to win. You just have to survive the boss for a minute, I guess. And on T5, on No Hope, you'll have less crates to get, so that's nice. Ridden hives. Various collision adjustments made, so I guess that one on whichever hive it is, I forget which one exactly, but you probably won't be able to jump through that one web anymore without breaking through it. And thank the Lord, Ravenous has been removed from ridden hives. Couldn't have happened soon enough. I am so sick of getting max trauma every time I see Ravenous on a ridden hive. So let's all be grateful for that. And yeah, we did get a bit of a heads up that was coming from the Trello board if you've been paying attention. Okay, so card updates. We have icons are getting updated. We're now going to get a better indication in the tooltips if cards are affected by healing efficiency. Antibiotic ointment has been buffed. Belligerent. Players now gain 4% damage per horde up to 6 stacks. And then stacks are now lost when any cleaner is downed or killed rather than when the card owner is damaged. So that is a buff to Belligerent. I am slightly hesitant to say. It's great that it's not the what is it called? Fragile? I think it's called fragile whatever buff. It's a lot harder theoretically to be down than to just take any damage. So Belligerent should stick around a lot more. That said, your team is now going to be taking Belligerent off of you instead of you being in charge of your own Belligerent. So while Belligerent seems to be buffed, it's probably a lot less useful in quick play. Crippling frequency. Stacks no longer refresh all at once, and we'll see later. I don't think that's the only nerf to crippling frequency. Double grenade pouch no longer reduces movement speed. Food scavenger now grants item sense for food items. Once again, pretty much just making food scavenger, you're now hang. Front sight focus now also grants 15% recoil control. Grenade pouch now reduces the cost of offensive accessories and vendors by 5%. I don't know if we've seen that before, where a card reduces a certain item or certain types of items by a percentage, and I'm curious to see if we're going to see that more. As hard as it is now to get any kind of economy going, it'd be cool if you specialize in a certain type of item to get, to get discounts in that type of item in the shop. High vis sights, 15% move speed while aiming and firing. Ignore the pain now scales with healing efficiency. Medical professional now scales with healing efficiency, which is fantastic. The nurse purse item now works with this card. Out with a bang no longer grants an extra life. It's a shame for my Dan deck, which is usually running around with like 6 extra lives, but I can do with 1 less extra life. It actually makes sense anyway. Reload drills now also grants 25% weapon swap speed, second chance, 25% bleed out resistance. Shoulder bag no longer reduces movement speed. And stealthy passage, another one that I don't know if this saves this card, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. Now works on police SUVs, which I didn't realize it didn't before. I don't know why it didn't. Now works on bear traps. It says beat traps here. And now works on cultist traps. So this means that maybe stealthy passage is useful on Act 5. Maybe. But at the moment, I've got 2 decks for Carly. One that's Acts 1 through 4 and one that's for Act 5, because there is nothing to use Stealthy Passage on in Act 5. At least now it can be used on bear traps and cultist traps. Although I still don't know if that's helpful at this point, because you can still just shoot those things. Anyway, Utility Belt no longer reduces movement speed, which is another great thing for utility players, because utility players need to be fast and use their toolkits. Anyway, I don't need to get into that, but it's a good thing. Corruption cards. Hunger. Damage hit marker is no longer directional. Your stomach is no longer going to be hitting you in the side of the head. I'm glad about that. That was annoying. Ravenous. Players can no longer continue to eat food when full, which is nice that you're not going to be stealing food from your team when they need it, which is great for like quick play and stuff, but also you're getting less food buffs. Food now has outlines while this card is active, which helps, and stacks are now cleared when incapacitated. So in general, I think people were fed up with the Ravenous card. Okay, balance updates. And it says, developer note, we are closely watching all cards and will continue to adjust as necessary in order to make the game feel more balanced. So, bleed damage is now a percentage of player health. Hopefully that makes things less broken, especially for slashers. That's what they're called, right? Yeah. Slashers are so broken right now, and I'll mention that again when we get to the changes to slashers. Anyway, ammo for all now increases team damage by 3.5% from 2.5%. Barbed wire damage reduced. Blood donor duration increased to 10 from 15. Decreased. What did I say? But the heal increased to 1.5 from 1. Bodyguard trigger cooldown increased to 5 from 3. But then I think later in these patch notes it says that a bug was fixed that made it 3 seconds instead of 5. So I don't know if this is a change or a bug fix. Either way, I've tested Bodyguard a lot, seeing as my main role, the thing I play the most is tank, and I haven't found Bodyguard to be that helpful, so I don't know why it needs to be nerfed at all. Anyway, canned goods increased to 45 HP from 40, and stamina reduction reduced to 25% from 30%. Okay. Combat training, bullet stumble is increased, and stumble is increased. Crippling frequency like I said, is again nerfed. Damage reduction reduced to 1 from 2. Radius reduced to 12.5 meters from 15 meters. Again, I didn't see this thing as being that overpowered, but I think across the board, gadgets are getting nerfed. I don't think it's going to stop people from using gadgets, but I feel like they were seeing that gadgets are just being used a lot. I don't know. Durable now grants 20% fire resistance and health gained increased to 10 from 5. Experimental stimulants, cooldown increased, activation cost increased, duration reduced, damage increased, reload speed increased. So experimental stimulants, they actually did both. They nerfed it and buffed it. So that, yeah, I don't know. They changed it is the main thing. But they made it cost more, so you're going to be using it less. Experimental stun gun, ammo cost increased to 30 from 20. I don't know why. Experimental stun gun is already hard enough to use, given the fact that you have to turn it on and then wait like 3 seconds before it even activates. And it uses large ammo, which you can only hold like 10 of anyway, but whatever. Expired T5, the one so many people were complaining about until people discovered the AI whatever, the broken duping thing. Anyway, expired T5, initial damage increased to 20 from 8, damage per second reduced to 1 from 6, duration reduced to 7 from 10, ammo cost increased to 75 from 50, cooldown increased to 35 from 25. So they've made it more of an initial damage thing and much less of a thing that does damage over time. They also want you to use it a lot less by increasing the cost and increasing the cooldown. So over time, expired T5 has seemed a lot less broken, especially in the higher difficulties. But clearly they wanted to balance it, and I think a lot of people wanted them to balance it. So yeah, it's going to be used a lot less, and hopefully you have access to a lot of ammo if it's in your deck. Food scavenger, extra spawns reduced to 7 from 10. I didn't even know 10 was the number. 10 doesn't even seem like that much for food. And now it's 7, and so it seems like really not that much, but we'll see. Heavy attacks, stamina drain reduced by 70% for all weapons. What? Okay, back inside, movement speed equalized to forward speed with... whatever. Hydration pack increased to 35 HP from 25 HP. That's nice, I guess. Ignore the pain. Health recovery increased to 2 from 1. Life insurance, life increased to 2 from 1. Wait, do you get 2 extra lives from life insurance now? Team Incat trauma resistance reduced to 10% from 15. But if you get 2 extra lives now, then wow. Medical professional, heal and trauma heal reduced to 10 from 15. So it's reduced, but now it's affected by healing efficiency. Offensive scavenger, spawn count increased to 5 from 4. At least we're getting the numbers on how these things work now. So if you have offensive scavenger, there's 5 additional things that spawn. I wonder if that's the same for support scavenger. And I hope it's not the same for copper scavenger. If you only get 5 extra copper piles, that's not a lot. Second chance increased to 15 HP from 5. Surplus pouches, health trade-off reduced to 5% from 10. Ultrasonic wound therapy, increased ammo cost to 60. Reduced tick rate to 1.135 from 1. Radius reduced to 12.5 meters from 15 meters. Another nerf to gadgets. vitamins increase to 25 HP from 15. Weapon upgrades. Frag and pipe bombs can trigger traps, which is great. Combat knife can now hit multiple targets. Embezzler uses heavy ammo, but gives you a lot more copper now. Bows will spawn more, but are more affected if you don't have enough stamina. Iron claws are less like bugged. Tenderizer now actually damages things around it. Spawning updates. In Light Guidus level, there's more time between hordes by a little bit. Bot updates. The bots will now use the skins that the player last used for the cleaner. So you're not always playing with default skins if that kind of thing matters to you. This is great. Bots can now pick up duffel bags in response to players pinging it. So you can actually have a utility item when you're playing solo. You don't have to just give up your utility item always so that you can carry a duffel bag. Written updates. Audio cue when hordes are triggered, just more transparency about when there's a horde. Ogre now has a roar animation as it triggers a horde. You can't stumble snitches and no hope. Slasher updates. I said we were going to get to this. Slashers, at least up till now, have been completely broken. They are by far the most dangerous thing in the game. So much so that, like, if you get touched by one, you are dead. Pretty much. So, slasher updates. They can now be stunned during their leap attack. Hopefully you can stun them. If you can't stun them, then I guess you're still kind of screwed, but at least they can be stunned now. Hopefully with my nerfed stun gun thing, I'll be able to do that. Also, I guess with whatever my ability is. What's the first melee hit that I do to anything stumbles it. Should also stun it, I guess, is the same thing as stumble. Stumble damage increased to 150, I think means it takes more to stumble it, I think, which is annoying, but yeah. Armor pierce health reduced to 350 from 500. Health increased. Because, yeah, I guess they needed to be buffed too. And stumble decay increased to 30 seconds from 15 seconds, which I think means the stumble damage you put on them stays on them longer. The cultist snipers have increased health and have weak spots, which is fine. Snipers are kind of too weak up to this point anyway. And crones, health is increased. They shoot faster, but their arrows do a little bit less damage. I guess they thought the crones were too weak. I just think they're annoying and do too much damage anyway, but whatever. That's a lot of the main stuff. You can now do unlock all or unlock up to in the caravans, health bar visuals. Oh yeah, bug fixes. I often just kind of glaze over these. There are a few good ones though. Amped up still works after a player rejoins a match, which is great. Here we go. Bodyguard fixed an issue where the cooldown was listed as 3 seconds when it's supposed to read 5 seconds. Once again, I don't know if that's a bug or a change or whatever. What else? Marked for Death will work on abominations. Cleaners were coughing inside of an oxygen bubble. First pipe bomb out with a bang was missing sound effect. I was always wondering if it was even going off. Fixed an issue where the Silence is Golden challenge could not be failed after a player died and was rescued from a pod. I was always wondering why sometimes you would never be able to fail that challenge. Um, Ridden hives fixed an issue where bear traps could spawn in ridden hives. Apparently, they're not supposed to spawn in ridden hives. So if they're not going to be there anymore, I'm happy about that. Could we get rid of them everywhere too? I guess they're not always bad. I kind of hate them. I just keep running into them. There's too many. Anyway, weapons. The all weapons full auto option deactivating was super annoying. Supposedly that's fixed. A bunch of fixes to the bow. Again, iron claws aren't supposedly not broken anymore. The cut fixed an issue where players and bots could be forced into a ledge hang. So you fix the entire level? That would be a miracle. I doubt it. Oh, and here's another important one. Fixed an issue where bots would sometimes fail to use toolkits on treasure doors. I kind of have an issue with that wording because it implies they always intended to have bots use toolkits on treasure doors, and I don't think I've ever seen them do that. But either way, if bots are now going to use their toolkits on treasure doors, that's amazing because once again, maybe we could actually have utility items when playing solo and not just have to give up our utility slot to either a duffel bag or a toolkit. So, lovely. Pipe cleaners fixed an issue where sleepers could grab cleaners as soon as they emerged from the slide. So, hopefully, we're going to have less issues where we get split up in the slide and then I immediately have to just run around the entire circle to get to the other person who got immediately slept. Fixed an issue where players could see locked cards when the option show locked is disabled in Fort Hope. I've never been able to get the show locked option in the card selection thing to ever work properly. So if that's working now, great. And yeah, I think that's about it. So, um, yeah, this video has been a bit long, but there are a lot of really cool and much needed updates. Um, so I'm excited to get right into this, enjoy this new and improved version of the game, and see all the new cosmetics and earn all the new cosmetics. I swear I can talk. All the new cosmetics that are in this update. And I'm going to be streaming today. Hope to see you guys around. Keep an eye out for my new videos coming out and my update to the Children of the Worm story, which will be coming out in the foreseeable future. Until the next time, thanks so much for watching. Lots of love, lots of ridden, and happy Halloween.